It needs to go away.
Okay, so we will go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us at the new old time. Our plan is to try this time out for a little bit and see how it goes.
And it's already going much better than it has been the last several months, so, I think unless the chamber says otherwise, I think we're back to 8 o'clock, so.
There is, for those on Zoom who missed it, because we were muted, they're doing construction at the chamber right now, so if you hear a lot of banging, it's, they're doing construction. So we will kick off and start and go around the room like we always do. Your name, your organization, and your favorite Halloween costume, either that you've done in, or your kids, or just that you've seen. I've got a good one.
All right, start with Dan, because I'm gonna be last.
Okay. Dan's got food in his mouth.
I'm really good at picking that one.
Dan Basil, Home Helpers, I guess favorite costumes, vampire, Dracula.
I like it.
Was that what you wore?
I'm Loretta Pitts. This is my second day working for the Chamber of Commerce. I am assistant to Susan. And my favorite costume would have me when all my kids and nieces and nephews dress up as the Frozen cast. So
Fun.
And I'm gonna follow you on Frozen, so, Ashley Temmie with the chamber. I'm gonna have to, tell you real quick, my daughter is 8 and she's already been Elsa once. And I asked her what she wanted to be for Halloween this year, and she said, I wanna be Elsa. And I said, well, you've already been Elsa. She said, but not in this neighborhood, because we moved to. Okay, she's got she's a little towhead, she's got the blonde hair, she wants to, so she can braid her own hair.
That's awesome.
Alan Shannon, Samuel Healthcare Architect, Marine Corps League, Scarecrow.
Awesome.
I'm Jamie Myron, my business finance. The only costume I can really remember is when my mom made me a Yoda costume when I was little. I had little feet and everything, so.
Andrea Holloway, I'm with Council for Drug-Free Youth, and I would say my favorite costume was when I was Cat and Pat. So I like dressing up, and we used to do that with the National Guard, so we always had that day to dress up, and have the best day ever. So, and then my kids also have the inflatable cow, so that's hilarious to see.
That's the year that Party City went out of business. Every kid in town had like Remo costumes, like they were the really, like trick or treating was so fun that year because I was like, oh, you could tell everyone went to Party City.
Do we have any Halloween stores or interrupt?
Yeah, there's 2, one at the mall, one on the boulevard.
Where have I been?
They're just here right now, not all the time.
I guess. All right, Nicole Dennison with Council for Drug-Free Youth, and favorite Halloween costume would have to be my daughter. She's 16 and a vegetarian. Last year, she was a hamburger. And she wore the red lipstick and
Oh.
and I'm talking like it was a big hamburger walking around 16-year-old.
Big old patty hook.
I love it. Okay, so on Zoom, Christy, do you want to unmute? Okay, what about Dwayne?
This is Dwayne Carty with the Jefferson City Renegades. Favorite costume, my daughter was an M&M character and had a stuffed M&M plush that she carried around with her that was about the same size.
That's awesome. Janet?
Hi there. So Keith and I dressed as Hooters twins one time, and that was fully fun. So that has to be the best.
Good. Jerry?
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't hear some of the first part. This is Jerry Tritz with Central Missouri Foster Care and Adoption Association. And I have to say something about my favorite Halloween costume, or?
Either one you've done or your kids or one you've seen.
Oh, my kids they dressed as Angry Birds one year, like the Black Bomb Bird and maybe something else. That was fun.
I love it. Okay, Megan.
My favorite, well, I don't have any kids, but I did dress up my black cat as a bat.
Did it appreciate it?
Absolutely not.
Okay, and then B male H, I don't know who that is, I'm sorry.
Hi, yes, that's Becky Miller. I'm with Mimi's Vintage and Gifts. And I think probably the best kid costume was the Headless Horseman that my son dressed up as. And we had a bicycle parade in the neighborhood. So we rode his bicycle as the Headless Horseman, which was quite a sight.
That's hilarious.
Tradition and cycling. Win.
Okay, so Natalie from the library, probably one of my favorite costumes in college, because in college you go out like 17 times and you still need to have different costumes. One of my friends dressed up as a baked potato. This was awesome. We covered her in tinfoil and we wrote like mom's leftovers on it. So that's my favorite one probably of all time.
I'm Kenney Newville, I'm with Modern Litho, and I was gonna say I don't have a favorite costume because I don't like dressing up, but I will say, I guess my favorite costume that I ever dressed up as or with, I created it was Link from The Legend of Zelda, and in case you're wondering, the green character that you play as is not Zelda, that's the princess, and everyone called me Zelda the whole night, it was awesome. So.
Did you correct them the whole time?
What do you?
I know.
So, really quickly, I wanted to say something when we started out with Dan. Dan had his mouth full of delicious donut or a bear claw or something. For those of you who are in attendance, we do have donuts. I have it on good authority. Somebody always has to take them with him or her when this is over, if they're left over. So please go take some donuts and enjoy it.
Take them home.
No.
Take them to work.
No.
Don't take
Enjoy
your.
Enjoy the donuts.
My, when I come back from the chamber, my staff are like, did they bring donuts this time? Do you have donuts? I'm like, stop it.
If you do not take them this morning, they're going with me to Modern Litho. Not be going to the library. Suckers.
I'm gonna take one or two to cut in half for them.
Very good.
Okay, so we're gonna talk today, can everyone on Zoom see the PowerPoint? I think it's all shared correctly, but.
The problem is that we can't. Because we screen. I don't think so.
I can check this, the view too.
We'll just go with it. I'm assuming you guys can hear us and that you can see the PowerPoint. If you not, say something. Okay, so like I said, we're talking about your holiday marketing plan today. Obviously, we're getting into the season of all the holidays, all the things, so buckle up.
It's too early to be talking about Christmas, except if you're in social media marketing or marketing in general, in which case we've been talking about it for a while now, I'm sure.
I don't know if you go to all the stores, it's Halloween and Christmas.
Too early.
It's all out.
Too early. Historic retail, too early.
Yep.
Okay, so first we're gonna just talk about some generic holiday and season themed engagement ideas that you can kind of do. And I wanted to kick it off. A lot of the strategies that we use for other things are gonna be the same now. It's just the benefit now, really from October 1 through the end of the year, is everything you do can have some kind of holiday or season theme. So before, like if you asked, what book do you read, look at the library, we'll ask the same question, just the image will be fall themed. So you just kind of have to think about things. It just kind of allows your creativity a little bit more that you can adjust everything that way.
Yeah, there's subtle ways you can tweak it. You don't need to talk about it incessantly, but you can show that it's, you can make it not stand out. For example, if you had what's your favorite book to read and you've got someone in a bikini reading by a pool in the middle of December in Missouri, people are gonna be like, I wish I was there. But there's gonna be a cognitive disconnect. I think it makes more sense to have someone cozied up by a fireplace with a cup of coffee or hot chocolate or something. It just makes more sense. You didn't mention Christmas, but you subtly changed it.
So just some generic ideas right now, which we're kind of getting into Halloween, obviously, but for a little bit longer, some things you can do. Recipes are always great any time of this year. At the library, for the past like 3 years, we've shared gourmet s'mores. So, and that's something I did with my friends and took pictures of it, and we share like how to gourmet s'mores. This is interesting to me. the top fall keywords in their engagement. So just thinking about how can you incorporate things like this into your social media plan, regardless of what you do. Like CDFY, you guys could easily take stuff and how to have like a fun, safe way to celebrate that doesn't involve alcohol for kids, like, go to the pumpkin patch, go on a hayride, that kind of stuff. So just thinking about ways that you can incorporate that. Even like for those of you who work in finance or at the banks, it would be interesting in my mind to find out like how much do people spend on pumpkins every year? Like what does that cost you? And then if you take it one step further, if you do like investing, like, okay, so the average person spends $30 on pumpkins and mums right now. If you invested that next fall, you would have XYZ. So like, there's just ways to take the theme and build it into your messaging.
The low hanging fruit is the pumpkin spice lattes, which everybody's, crazy over. This time of year, that's the way I go. But if you're a nonprofit, by the way, I mean, a lot of monthly giving campaigns were started by somebody standing in front of a group of people and saying, for $5 a month, just donate one latte to us. That's all we're asking you.
Except that one, lattes are like $8 now.
They can make more money. Go for it.
And two, like, you have to be careful with that because there's a movement now amongst like 20, 30 somethings where they're like talking about the economy and they're like, buying latte doesn't cause me to be broke, blah, blah, blah. So.
I agree with
It's a
that.
thing. I know you do. It's a thing. So anyway.
But speak their language, lattes. That's what I'm saying.
So recipes are one thing, and it could be things that your like favorite staff recipes or things that you make a lot. It would be funny for the chamber to be like, what's your favorite breakfast recipe? And it's like, boom, donuts at the chamber meeting. Like it's not a recipe, but like it's something that people look forward to here. Pumpkin spice. Everything is pumpkin spice right now. So I thought this was funny. The dictionary added pumpkin spice to the dictionary. And so then they had mugs that say it. I just bought a shirt the other day that says, I hate pumpkin spice. Yeah, I said it.
We're not friends anymore, Natalie.
The campfire mocha is always better. It's always superior. That's why they moved the campfire mocha date at High Rise to later because it outsold the pumpkin spice.
Oh, really?
I was like, it's better. That's why.
Ambassador.
I agree with you, man. Hot or cold.
That's the same move, Dan, just agree.
And then activities. So I thought this was really interesting. Golf Digest did a thing that fall golf is finally here with like all the pretty trees and the leaves changing color. REI talked about your layers, liquid holders, and love seats to enjoy the best season. That made me laugh, liquid holders. So just again, like they're clearly selling their merch, but it's just wrapped in a fall package right now.
And you'll notice Golf Digest used an emoji. So we consistently kind of point out that you can use an emoji and still be a serious, a serious account. I would almost encourage it really at this point. If you can make it work, don't shove it in where it doesn't belong, but anyways.
They also, even though this was on Twitter, they gave credit to the photographer, his Instagram handle.
Yeah.
And then obviously decor, whether you decorate your office, whether it fits with your brand to show people how to decorate. Like at the library, we do crafts all the time, so we show like the finished crafts, however you can fit it. Decor now, like a lot of people who don't decorate any other time of the year will decorate from September to the end of the year.
If you have a brick and mortar location, we've talked about this a number of times, but people like to see behind the scenes. They like to see what your staff is doing, what's going on around the office, right? So this is a perfect opportunity. You've got like several different theme changes throughout the next couple months that you could take pictures of your staff, having a good time, decorating. If they're being forced to decorate, they're not having a good time, that's funny to most people who aren't being forced to decorate. So there are myriad ways that you can display and show off your brick and mortar location with decorations as well. It's a good opportunity for you to do it shamelessly. Oh, and also, if you're a clothier or something, oh, that new rack of shirts is also in the background. you know, or whatever, or a sign for, you know, percentages, which probably isn't very great right now for loans, but.
Okay, so then obviously fall, we transition into Halloween. Craft ideas is always a great thing that people enjoy. I don't, but other people do. Costume contest with staff and customers. So that's like, even things like, obviously, every time we do an icebreaker, we try to think of something that could translate into a social media post. So asking people, what's your favorite Halloween costume? Have them share pictures in the comments. Like, that's really good engagement. This image kind of touches on, again, what we talked about, like reading all year, reading in October. Like, we used this image on the library social media a couple, maybe weeks ago. Just thinking of those funny ways to kind of incorporate it all. A pumpkin carving contest. Again, that's something you can either have a prize for, like you run it with your customer base, or it's just something that you ask people to show, you know, show us your pumpkins, carve pumpkins and show them to us in the comments. It's kind of how you want to do it. Pet photos, especially in costumes, Megan.
Especially when they're irritated in a costume, or your kids when they're irritated in a costume, or your spouse. Anything irritated in a costume.
Right, it's great, it's very fun. And then I like this idea with the short story contest. So if you could do it where somebody, like you start a sentence, and then the next comment does the next sentence, and then so on and so forth. And then later you can have the whole like story. So then it's another post later on.
When you do that, be aware that something inappropriate could be posted and be ready to moderate, but you don't need to overburden yourself with some massive moderation aspect in this post where it's like inappropriate comments will be deleted, blah, 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 blah. Remember, you can delete or you can hide, so there's a lot going on.
I usually say keep it clean, this is the family page.
Or you can keep it
Like,
very short.
Yeah, like I just do like funny stuff like that.
One of the other things that's been very popular, and it's funny because I tell local businesses and organizations, hey, stay off of Twitter, but it's going around on Twitter, and I'm sure it's on other things as well, is the, sorry, CDFY, but remember the old razor blades and hardcore drugs in your Snickers bar during Halloween? Well, people are taking that and using it, and people are like, you know, I found this forestry axe in my child's candy bar, and they just very crudely post a picture of an axe inside the Snickers, or like the one ring of power from the Lord of the Rings in the Snickers bar.
Library cards, that's the way around all the library pages. Like one put it in there, like they were like, oh, I'm gonna open the stickers for my kid, and they opened it, and like there was a whole library card in it.
So you might think that was me reading out, especially saying, you might not want to participate in this one because it might be a little on the nose, but actually, you might be able to take this opportunity to define why that meme is a real thing, right? What happened that led to that piece of public correspondence, you know? So maybe, I don't know. My point is, you just have to kind of see what's working and what's going around, and you kind of gotta hitch your wagon to it if it's appropriate.
Okay, Thanksgiving. This is the one that I always say, keep it clean, work family page, because I will reuse this picture every Thanksgiving. I think it's hilarious. People post funny things in it. Like it cracks me up every year.
And it will get political.
It doesn't. People don't, or they say I voted for blank.
Yeah.
Like they won't put a name in there. At least on the library page, people are pretty good about like not getting into that.
You groomed your audience, well.
But this is also good, so thinking about on Thanksgiving Day, like we still wanna have content. And personally, I don't love the generic like happy Thanksgiving posts. I just think it fills the space and it doesn't get engagement. It's for the library audience, it's never a great stating post. So I try to do fun stuff like this, because when someone's sitting there and they're annoyed at their family because they've been together all day and they're scrolling Facebook and they're like, I'll be clever, and it boosts our engagement. So
later in the day, you could say, you know, post a, you know, raised hand if you're ready to go home now, you know, later in the day. So, yeah, this is this Thanksgiving, Halloween. These are, I mean, even Christmas in a secular sense, you're able to have fun with these holidays. There are solemn holidays you cannot have fun with. Don't try. Memorial Day, just don't. Somebody eventually, or always does, but don't. Anyways, but Thanksgiving and Halloween and Christmas and New Year's, yeah, follow them, be creative.
So asking your audience to share their favorite memory of Thanksgiving or a meal. Again, recipes. So, and there's different ways you can do this. So like, we have asked our staff, like this is one of our staff members, it's her mom's pumpkin squares. And so she gave us the recipe, and I have this template saved in Canva. And so anytime I do any kind of recipe from the library, like it's very easy for me just to change out the directions and the ingredients and the title. But even asking what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? You could ask what's the Thanksgiving dish you always pass on? Like anything like that people will give their opinion and it's easy. Like I would always be like, oh, I love, my mom's stuffing, or that's my favorite. What do you pass on? Like any vegetable. You just don't need it on Thanksgiving.
You could also do like what's unique to you. Like growing up, my household, we always had two types of stuffing. We had stuffing with dressing, right? But the stuffing was always an Italian stuffing with sausage and mozzarella and that type of thing. But then we also had American, dressing as well. So that's kind of a unique thing to us. But other people, obviously, we're a cultural melting pot, even in the Midwest. And so you might get some interesting posts on that as well.
Travel tips, obviously, again, a lot of people travel on these holidays. So from the library perspective, I always talk about our ebooks and our audiobooks, like don't let your kids fight in the backseat, put an audiobook on, that kind of thing. There's things from a bank perspective, like Megan, I don't know how your guys' cards work, but it's like, hey, if you're going out of state, don't forget to let us know so your credit card works or your debit card works or whatever. So just thinking about travel tips and how what you do can help solve those problems. There may be something with home helpers like, hey, if you're going out of town, but your loved one is not, these are the things to make sure you do before you leave. So just trying to think again, of those pain points that people have and how does your brand help solve those pain points? Football, Thanksgiving, always football, like you could post anything.
Go sports team.
Yeah, unless you're Kenney, they will not resonate with him. Everyone else it will resonate with. Okay, Christmas and the shopping season. This is like the longest section because it's the biggest this time of year.
Apparently, we've already blown past Christmas and Thanksgiving, already Thanksgiving.
Okay, so this is something that we've done at the library. So even if you're a nonprofit, I always recommend if there's any kind of merch or things that you can sell as a fundraiser, it's a great time to make sure you have that stuff readily available right now, going into the holiday season. So we did a whole post about last minute holiday gifts at the library. We also do at the library where people can, I think it's like $50. If they donate $50, then they can designate, like we mail a bookmark that says somebody donated $50 in your name to like the gift person of their choice. So we're like, for the person that has everything but loves literacy. So tie that in however you want with your own nonprofit. But those are just kind of interesting ways to still participate, but even if you're not a store.
Well, and notice like the blending of the traditional physical media banks bookmark, right? But post about it on social media, let people know that's something you do. So it's no longer in a silo. People don't view it as exclusively in a silo, like blend your social media and your other marketing. Get the word.
Okay, so what should you focus on? So we're coming up on it, Black Friday. If you sell something, Black Friday is something you should focus on. Small Business Saturday is obviously if you own a small business, you're not a chain store. Cyber Monday, if you sell online. Giving Tuesday, if you're a nonprofit. I was really bummed out, I couldn't find an updated version of this image for 2020 or 2022. Because it shows the spending going up, and I'm really curious in 2022 if that trend's going to continue.
I think the reason you haven't seen it yet is because we're all waiting.
If they don't know.
We're all on pins and needles. I think that there's some significant opportunities this year, though, for that number to go up, despite prices also going up, because inventory seems to be high right now for a lot of people in certain circles, and so I wouldn't discount it. However, everybody expects these posts, right? You might think I'm not gonna cater to the popular culture and do what everyone else is doing on Small Business Saturday, or I don't need to post about it. People assume I'm a small business and so I've got deals. I'll let someone else, I'll let the other marketing pull people in my store. Do not make that mistake. Put the word out there. Number one, people will never get tired of hearing about sales if they're good sales. If you're overcharging for something and you're just discounting it to what its MSRP is, then they're gonna know, right? Think about you as a consumer. And second of all, they want to see it, they expect to see it, and while everyone else is putting their messaging out, you could move farther towards the back of their minds. So don't think that just because you have your number one or number two or number 10 customer, they're going to think about you every time when they're being inundated with every other sale, every other promotion, every other nonprofit's also asking for them to donate, so.
The other thing that I did not put in here, but just to keep in mind is like we are coming up on midterms election. So we did a whole presentation in 2020 leading up to the 2020 election, what you should think about. And obviously it's a midterm, so it's not as big, so I didn't add it in here because this was already a long presentation. But just keeping in mind, there's going to be a lot of noise leading up, even though like here in Missouri, we don't necessarily have a ton of people. Like it's like our governor is on a different cycle than all of that, but just keeping in mind there's gonna be a lot of noise nationally. There's gonna be restrictions for ads, so your boosted posts and your social media ads. So just keeping that in mind is important as we go into that time of the year.
Your dollar isn't gonna go as far, and your numbers are gonna be lower than expected.
Okay, so prep work, things you need to be doing right now. Batching your work, we talk about this all the time. I sat down yesterday, especially as I was pulling old posts or old images that I know I'll reuse again. And I started kind of working on social media posts for November and December. Again, like I said, because I know I'll use them again. But it's easier if you sit down and batch your work. The holidays are busy for everyone. We all start taking more time off. There's more social engagements, there's more evening fundraisers, all kinds of stuff. So setting some time aside right now to batch work, because we all know when Thanksgiving is. We all know what kind of posts we're gonna do all around those days. So getting it done now will make your life much easier during the holiday season.
Plus, like psychologically, it's good, right? When you're in a creative space, when you're in a strategic space, you should totally like exhaust that. And once you're exhausted, step away, do the next thing. Don't force yourself to be creative, but definitely allow yourself to be creative when you feel it.
Again, planning your content, scheduling your content. This Google Sheet is saved in the Facebook group. It's a tool that I use. Trello is another great tool to use. If you know how to use Trello, this one's just super simple. How I do it is I have it as the week, and I plan out, and I just make notes to myself on there. Like nobody else would be able to read that and know what's being planned, but I do, so.
And if you've got a team, you can obviously have it more structured, like for example, what's the copy? What's the visual? What's the link if there is one? What hashtags are you using? Is there an emoji? And you can go ahead and just make it so that, anybody could, in your absence, go in and create that post based off of that column for Sunday or Monday or Tuesday.
And Trello is really great with that. Like if you're comfortable, if you don't know how to use Trello and you're comfortable learning another like dashboard or platform, I really like that because you can drop the images and the links and the copy and it's all in one spot and it's super convenient. Reaching your customers or your audience now. It was funny, so I was working on this yesterday and this email from last year. But as I was going through my email, I had 2 or 3 emails come through that was like, holidays are coming. Holiday shopping is coming. It's coming. I was like, oh yeah. So people are already sending out their emails. So if you sell something that's a brick and mortar, making sure you're reaching out now. And even if it's just like, hey, make sure you're signed up for our texting group, or join our Facebook group or whatever it is, however you reach your customers, making sure that they're subscribed now is really important. Also on your social media, making sure that people, you ask them to follow you, mark as a favorite, that kind of thing. Create an image like this and post this in your group. Just make sure that people know that way they don't miss anything. Building your email list, now is also a great time to start that. People will interact more frequently right now. during the holidays. There are businesses that I sign up for their email list right now, specifically for their sales and deals. And then after the holidays, I unsubscribe. Like, and so capturing those people now. There's also people I sign up for their text list for my birthdays, and I get like free cookies and stuff. So,
But most people don't curate their content in their inbox like that. Most people don't. So, you know, getting someone on your email list is a good idea at any time. But especially as we move into the new year, people tend to be a little bit more lax about their unsubscribe today.
especially if you're sending good emails year round. The ones I unsubscribe from are the ones that I get 7 emails a day from. Like Children's Place, I know you're having a 50% off sale, I know you have free shipping, that is literally your sale all year long. I do not need email, it's under control. Again, if you're a nonprofit or if you're in a service field, like you're not necessarily selling something, there's still ways to get people. For nonprofit, I would say, again, offering value, so figuring out whatever pain point you guys are helping solve, whether it's you guys who are wanting to email parents about like ways that your team can celebrate the holiday safely, and sending tips and tricks and that kind of thing out. So just again, thinking, a lot of times I think we think about Black Friday and all of these sales and things that like, oh, I don't have a brick and mortar, it doesn't apply to me. But thinking about how you can make it apply to you is really valuable. Again, people want sales, they want deals, whatever that is to you. So, you know, I think this is funny, like 5% off with the red card, like 5% off is nothing. But people will do it, so whatever. Build your email now. And making sure you know all the platforms' terms of service, so you know what you can and cannot do with contests. So if you're gonna run any kind of contest on social media, just being aware of it.
Well, this is a picture of an ad, I believe it was from an email that was sent out, but I imagine this is also the same copy they use for their print.
Yeah.
So essentially, if you watch these big brands, what they're gonna be doing is they're gonna be trying to touch you multiple ways as a consumer, right? They're gonna try to touch you in your newspaper with their ads, or your mailbox with a print ad. Then they're gonna be trying to hit you in your inbox with your email. They're gonna be trying to reach you on social media through your different channels there. They're gonna be trying to do targeted ads through your Google searches or your websites, but it's generally speaking, mostly the same content. And that's because they want to make sure that they're getting that image in front of you. Now that you've seen this ad, if you were to see this ad, you won't, because it's like 4 years old. We used to.
I was trying to look and see if it had a date. I think it's like 2017 or 2018.
This is old.
I mean, those prices are not realistic.
Yeah, they're advertising Brave in Madagascar.
Yeah.
And Xbox Connect. Okay, I'm a gamer, so there you go. That's old. It's very old. Okay, so,
Okay.
but and look at the bezels on that TV, man. I mean, those are thick. So anyways, this is old, but if you were to see this again, or actually I wager, if you were to see another ad similar to this, you're gonna remember, I saw something like that. Even if you can't place where, when, why it's familiar to you, and what the human brain works is it's meant to recognize familiarity. That's our goal, right? It lets our guard down and we're able to consume content. Point being, if you do print, if you do email, if you do website, if you do targeted ad, do it on social as well. Multiple touch points, that's the key.
Okay, now's a great time to test your content a little bit too and see what works and what doesn't. Again, images, videos, lives, photos, reels, are you able to segment your audience? So like, these are 2 very similar posts that we did. One is a video showing how it works, one is just an image. And so now, like I said, now's a great time to try it out because very soon social is gonna get very noisy. And it's gonna be hard to compete with people. So know what works for your audience now, look at your insights, see what's happening.
If you have videos, just quick reminder, if you have videos where audio is important, like spoken word is important, make sure you have subtitles. It's not just for the hard of hearing. Most people.
It's for anybody in this room and scrolling their phone while we talk. And you wanna read what it says.
I encourage you, interact with the media, well, no one has their phone in their hands, so
I know, I'm impressed.
Yeah, no,
It must be
I'm-
interesting today.
yeah, he used to insult my college professors when I was taking notes on a phone or a computer. I'm encouraged by it. Take notes, no way. But anyways, most people watch videos, even well, again, they're not like Natalie. Natalie watches TikToks out loud without headphones on in the house at any given time. But most people will watch a video on their
It
phone.
doesn't drive me crazy
with
at all.
no audio.
Especially when it's all the same trend with the same sound, so like, I'm watching a video. It sounds like I'm just watching the same thing.
Yeah, like, no, I didn't mean to break your heart. Whatever. Oh my gosh, all I hear is just the same song on repeat, and it's actually ironically enough, my 9-year-old doing the same thing, but she's actually doing it in the way that all 9-year-olds do it. She's just stuck on the song. Natalie's watching a different video every time. It's just the same damn sound.
Okay, the other thing you're doing right now is preparing your profiles. So look at your profile picture, your cover photo, your bios, your links, check your website links. Make sure it's all working and it's all going where you want it to go to. So this is something, obviously for Giving Tuesday, we always change our cover photo to this, and I always make sure in the description of the cover photo, it has a link where they can donate, it talks about what we're raising money for, that kind of thing. If you're using QR codes, make sure your QR code is going where you want it to.
Two things on that, okay? Always plan for mobile. I mean, I don't remember the statistics. I don't imagine they've gotten any better since 2020. I think the last time I looked this up, it was like 93% of Facebook usage is from a mobile device. And then, by the way, just in case you're wondering what mobile device means, that was like 0.03% tablets. So it's all phones, right? So take a look at your phone. Every time you upload your new cover photo, take a look at your phone. Refresh the page, see if it works. I can't tell you the number of times lately, even some big brands. And I'm like, what are you doing? There is no literature on this right now that says otherwise. And I'll look, and half the image is cut off at the top of the cover and the information in the cover photo. It's like, what are you guys doing? With that being said, QR codes, use them. They're great. Don't use them in a Facebook post. How are you going to take a picture of the QR code if it's on your screen? I mean, have fun with that. It's like one of those ancient Chinese puzzles. That's all.
That's why you just have the link. On
Yeah, let me see
Instagram,
your phone. I gotta take a picture of this QR.
on Instagram, do not put the link in the post because they can't click on that on Instagram.
True that.
Put it in the link in your bio.
Use a link.
I recommend using Linktree, because like then it can always sit in there. Like for us, we always have the donate on our Linktree. We always have our catalog, we always have book box, we always have our blood drive signups. All of that stuff is always in our link in bio, so.
And very briefly, Linktree is basically a generic URL that you can put into your page, in your Instagram profile page, where you click it and it creates a landing page. Just very bland, right? And it'll say, for donations here, for website here, for this. And it's just a list of links, and people can just very quickly hit the table of contents. That's a good way to describe it.
It's super.
And it's a fantastic way to do it. If you're doing a lot of Instagram, it's really the only way to go. Unless you want to go up and change the link in bio every time you make a new post, and you want to go back and edit the old post because it's evergreen to say it's not in the bio.
See, it just has it all there. So like ours has summer reading, donate, sign up for blood drive, like
Again,
website.
Mobile friendly, because if you've ever tried to use Instagram on a desktop, it's miserable.
Yeah.
It's all mobile.
Well, and it's the worst when people have the link in the post, and they're like, click here, and it's like, I can't, and I'm not like, you've lost me, I'm not gonna go try to type in the URL, I'm gonna go
Start back.
Okay, so you said every time you update like your cover photo or your profile, okay, so is it gonna look, so I've got a 12, and let's say, she's got a 14, is it gonna, and the screens are bigger, is it gonna look different on my
Facebook-
phone versus hers?
Not really. Facebook has fixed that issue. So they auto adjust
I
a
was
little
kinda-
bit.
I was kind of wondering, because you had said, like, what are they doing? They're cutting everything off. Plus, I was thinking, well, maybe they created it on like a newer phone, like if people have older phones, you know, we can't see everything, so I didn't know.
The biggest issue is when there's words and verbiage on the entire image,
Uh-huh.
then Facebook has a hard time like adjusting it. But as long as it's like the one that I have here is fine, like that one is fine, because we have room on both sides. On the actual image, and so it gives space for Facebook to adjust.
But you're talking about cover photos, which,
This is a cover photo.
that is a cover photo?
That top part is?
This is a cover photo, so when you click on it, so that's the thing that's cool about it, is like, it's a cover photo, and I have this post, so if someone clicks on the cover photo, this is what it looks like.
That's what yours looks like right now.
No, this is from 19, but it will look like that in 2 weeks.
I was actually about to pull, I'm going to be like, well, let's see. I'll be 3 years too late, but I'll find it.
Talking about things getting cut off and stuff, I know I use PNG a lot because it posts well to Facebook and stuff, but I've never really paid any attention. Does that work going onto a phone? Do you pretty much keep everything with a PNG file?
So I usually use PNG files if I have transparencies, but almost exclusively otherwise upload in JPEG.
Okay.
It's not that it doesn't work better or worse, it's just, that's just my preferred format. I do know people who work with a lot of PNGs, but like I said, the only time I'm using a PNG is when I have to convey a transparency from a source image onto my eventual JPEG that I'm gonna use, because PNG allows for negative spaces. So.
See, I use a lot of PNGs too, because PNG is supposed to be the higher quality out of the two, correct? So is it really that much of a difference, I guess?
As long as you're compiling it correctly, a JPEG on a mobile device is generally gonna be just as nice. I'm sure there's a lot of video files and people who are photographers that would argue otherwise.
It also depends if you're doing a social media image versus a billboard.
Yeah.
Like, and a billboard, probably does make more.
So like
difference.
whenever we
for
download
sure.
something from Canva that we create and we need to be an image, I always do pink versus JPEG.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that, okay?
I mean, you know, it's interesting, like in the print world, we ask that everything be uploaded to PDFs over on Litho. I mean, and we're printing it in, you know, very, very fine detail. You don't think of PDF as being very fine detail, but it is.
For print,
If it's compiled correctly, well,
I
you know, a
mean,
lot of the books we're printing are bigger than this screen, and obviously
you can't upload a PDF to social.
you cannot. What I'm saying is, when people say, well, I use PNGs because they're sharper, there might be a reason that they're saying that, but compiling a JPEG in this day and age for social media to be viewed on the phone is gonna be just fine.
Okay, so we'll run through some stuff. Black Friday, things to do before. Obviously, getting your images ready, your graphics ready. Like we said, it's gonna be a busy time of year. You can see all of these people have done, where it all kind of looks the same, but you can tell it's all one like branding. These people have it ready because there's like a shopping feature now on Instagram, so you offer that. If you're nonprofit, obviously that won't make sense for you.
Do you pay for that option on Instagram?
I don't think so. I honestly have not looked at it because none of the brands I work with have, like, they don't sell stuff, so. Getting your influencers lined up, if you're using influencers or ambassadors, making sure they know what your upcoming promos are. And making sure if it is a product that they have in hand so that they can do their stories and that kind of thing. Okay, and then once you're ready, obviously, again, making sure your images match, your branding matches, you know what your sales are gonna be, you have them queued up. It seems to start earlier and earlier. I mean, Target was running their like Black Friday sales like last week. Like, I was like, is this really your Black Friday sales? Are you gonna have as good sales on Black Friday? Like, what's going on?
This is a collage of posts,
Yes.
just so in case anyone's wondering. Just to be sure. There's no gaps, so I just want to make sure.
And don't sleep on the stories. And this is a 2018, I would guess that this is even higher now. But if people look at, this at 63% of shoppers watched or posted videos and stories. It's gotta be higher now, like, this is how people find out about you. So I think a lot of times, especially if marketing is not your full-time job, if it's just a part of your job, stories are the easy thing to just be like, oh, we're not gonna mess with that. But if you're selling something or you're trying to fundraise, like keeping in mind that stories are super important. They can be pre-recorded, so like, again, CDFY, getting your youth ambassadors and that kind of stuff, to pre-record stories that you can then schedule out is great. And then after, don't forget to follow up with people. This is a super interesting, they have it set up in their chat, which I'm not super versed in, but I know it can happen, or like, people can say, like, what's on sale right now, and like, it sets up like the auto population.
You can go in and basically anticipate questions, like commonly asked questions, and then write the answer to it, and the algorithm in the Messenger app or the page will identify some of the themes and try to pair the best response to the question that's asked. Go in and play with it. We could probably do a social media forum on that tool alone, so we won't get into it too deep. It's not that crazy.
We do it at the library where it's like, how much does your program cost? And it's like, nothing. And then what's my PIN number? And we're like, call the library.
Well, I thought, nothing.
No, it is, I have a few set up. But
So anyways, fantastic tool for this time of year where you've got a lot of people who are asking questions, and oftentimes it's probably scary to realize how many times people are either en route to your physical location, on your website ready to buy, or maybe even in your physical location. And instead of asking someone behind a phone, because chances are that person's probably on the phone, they're standing in your aisle saying, what is this? Because they think you're gonna get a faster response on Facebook. This allows you to deliver that promise.
I've done it before. Carrie's Hallmark does a good job with this. Like, I've been in Target looking for something, and I'm like, I wonder if Carrie's has this. And I'll message them, and they're like, yep, we do. And they'll like send me a picture. They're like, we'll put it on hold for you. I'm like, cool. And I'll leave Target and go to Carrie's to pick it up.
And sending that automated reply allows Carrie to go to beaches. Sorry, Carrie.
Again, so after you do Black Friday, there are some stores or brands that will also do a 12 days of giving. So this is great if you're a nonprofit to try to find that store to partner with, so that they give to you. But just other ways to do it where it's,
Yeah, the 12 days of or whatever. I mean, that just think of something, because it's fun. It helps you content, and people again have a fun time with it.
Okay, Small Business Saturday, it's like Black Friday, just for small businesses. So I don't know, Susan, is the chamber doing anything? I know we're gonna love what's local. I don't know what the plan is.
But that's one of the things we're gonna promote on the Jason
Okay.
Rhodes local, it is Small Business Saturday.
Perfect. So there will be some stuff, coming out from the chamber about how you can participate in Small Business Saturday. I think locally, people do a really good job here of like, personally, I skip Black Friday for the most part, and then I shop on Small Business Saturday. So again, this is finding a quote unquote influencer. These are my own stories. I'll call myself an influencer for this day. But talking about like shopping small, like this, we were in St. Joseph with Kenney's family. And so I like documented the whole day, all the small businesses I went to there, what I got, that kind of stuff.
Well, just now that it's okay that we can admit that we were, with family in 2020.
Oh, yeah. I admitted it then. It was all over my Instagram. Okay, Cyber Monday. The same as Black Friday, it's just online. So all the same stuff is gonna apply.
But if you're a Small Business Saturday and you don't participate in Black Friday, you can still participate in Cyber Monday. Like, don't think, by the way, that you have to pick your lane and stay in it. You can make this a weekend of sales if you're a small business, because Black Friday works for you, Small Business Saturday works for you, Cyber Monday works for you. Everything you didn't sell that you wanted to on Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, sell it on Monday.
And a lot of times what people will do too is do different giveaways on the different days, and that gets people to come back. So they won't just shop at the one day.
And just because you don't have like, if you've got like a consumable, like for example, your last flight, run a promotion where it's like, finish with Black Friday at 1 o'clock, $5 off every growler fill, get your, recuperate after that madness or something like that, it doesn't have to
The
be.
wife is out,
Yeah, there you
the
go.
husband come to the last flight, like, we'll give you a place to hang out.
Yeah, that's a high-rise thing. It's like all the ladies will be out by about 7 o'clock and in line for Black Friday, so come on by or something, But in other words, think outside the box. It's not just about clothes and computers and video games or what have you. It's about what you offer to people.
Okay, Giving Tuesday, this is for our nonprofits. Leading up to it, stories I think make the most impact. So finding stories about your nonprofit from real people. I had done a post, really, I should probably do it around now. October-ish is when I usually do it, asking for people to tell us their stories about a certain topic. So in 2020, it was, tell us how the library helped you when we were all shut down. And so people shared their stories with me, and then I messaged them and said, hey, can you send me a picture that I can also use? So some sent me their cat's butt, and some sent me their face.
But there's a book in it.
Yep, there sure is. So, and so leading up to Giving Tuesday, is when I was really cultivating all of that content to use on Giving Tuesday. Sometimes we've also done this where it's not necessarily a real person, it's a persona. And so we created different personas about people and gave them fake names and made little cartoon images of them. So we've done that as well.
We've talked about this on social media forums before, the idea that you figure out who categorically is your customer, at what level they would interact with your business, and then assign them a name. I know it sounds fruity, but it helps, because she has George right there. But it also helps you so that when you're talking internally, you're like, oh, we've got a George over here. And the person on the other end of that communication knows, okay, well, George is retired, and he likes the Wall Street Journal. So I know what George likes, I know who he is, and I can help. So, I mean, there's a number of reasons you would have a persona list.
Okay, again, cover photo. This is a smaller version than the other one that I had shared. So make sure it has images and such. During.
I don't know that we're gonna have.
Hey, I'm Jessie, and I don't know about you, but learning to navigate the roller coaster of this homeschool, virtual, hybrid learning with my kids this year was insane. But you know what? My local library came in clutch. Seriously, don't know what I would have done without them. So this Giving Tuesday, really consider giving back to an amazing resource to our community, Missouri River Regional Library.
So this was something like, and I think there's a few more. I just asked my friends, I was like, will you record a video that says how the library helped you? And they're like, sure. And then they all did. And we used this content on Instagram and Facebook, all over the place.
They don't have to be super popular with massive followings, because you're gonna take that content, you're gonna post it on your channel, and then your channel is gonna see that person. And how cool is it every once in a while to see a channel, public, local, national, and you're like, I know that person, that's awesome, and it's a conversation starter for the next time you run into Jessie or whoever you see. So people love to see themselves on there too, so she's gonna share it and get it into her audience, and it'll be good.
Here's some more of our personas that we developed. Catherine, she's a pretty cool then. Our daughter was the persona.
Use your family. Go ahead.
I like to come to the library because there's some projects sometimes.
I know, I can't believe she's 9 now.
I know, look at that.
Yeah,
You said 9,
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, and.
I've seen her, but I also
Yeah.
never seen like.
Yeah.
Natalie, we're going to the library on Saturday because there's awesome fun projects sometimes.
Oh, there you
You're
go.
welcome.
I love it.
Content everywhere.
And then this was how, with social media, you're able to ask for donations. Like people can donate through Facebook, which is great because Facebook doesn't charge you fees typically on Giving Tuesday, so it's a great way to navigate people to give that way.
Don't forget your call to action button, by the way, throughout this whole process. If you're selling Update that. If you're asking for donations, update that. People go to your page, they're gonna be looking for that link, which is gonna be customizable. You can change a bunch of features on it. So.
Okay, and then here's another thing. So this year we kind of had modeled it off of, do you guys know the People of New York? You know, follow that social media page. So we kind of modeled it off of how they tell stories. And so we had 3 parts. We talked about Tawan and how the library helped her. And it was very successful that year too. Again, this is a repeat of the other stuff.
When school shut down in April, we had to figure out how to keep my 8-year-old busy at home, as well as myself and my husband. And we were so thankful for the library. Not only did they have curbside pickup, but they also had virtual programs that we could watch at any time and keep everybody in our house entertained and occupied. So on this Giving Tuesday, consider giving back to the library that kept our community running.
So you can also tell from both of those that clearly I had given them some like phrases, like on this Giving Tuesday, please remember to, so that helps your people who are recording content for you.
And if you're not watching them back to back and you're not being told there's phrases in there, then you never know.
Right.
So don't be afraid to coach your talent, always.
Absolutely. And then after, don't forget to thank people. So like this is a picture of our staff and our foundation writing thank you cards to everybody. This was where we were still, I think, asking donations, because we said it's one of our most successful Giving Tuesdays yet. This is what we've raised so far. This is in 2020, so like we said, we know there's a good chance future fundraisers will be affected by the pandemic, which makes your support even more valuable. So we knew like we may not be able to do some of our other fundraisers.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A very sincere thank you.
Thank you. Gracias. Dankeschön. Merci.
Thank you.
Thank you from the Bookmobile.
Thanks a lot. We are very grateful.
Hi, I'm Claudia Cook, and I'm the Missouri River Regional Library Director. I would like to personally thank you from the bottom of my book-loving heart for your generous support of the library this year.
I do think it's funny that I had to be like, please no, some of this footage was still recorded in the event, including the shot of the children on the Bookmobile. Because everyone was masked crazy then, and I had to be like, we did not have all these kids on the Bookmobile without a mask on, don't yell at me, please.
You'll also note that several of those videos were shot with somebody filming themselves, right? And not every one of those people is a social media marketer or a videographer, right? They're not. So don't be afraid to ask your people to go ahead and shoot their own videos. It's kind of like, does everyone remember the Blair Witch Project? How it's like really, gritty, and oh my gosh, they weren't using, things to stabilize the camera. People like authenticity. Like they look for it now. And if it's too curated, then they brush it aside. But things like this, where Claudia's clearly not looking at the camera now because she's about ready to click end, or whatever. It's real. People like it. So.
Well, and I think too, one of the things that's interesting, so just from like a timeline perspective, from these strategies that we've used. So I started the library in 2017, and that year I think we raised $5,000, which was the most we'd ever raised. This year, I think we ended up at like 11 or 12,000 in 2020. Last year we raised 22,000. Our goal this year is 25,000. So from 2017, 5,000 to now our goal is 25,000. And I think a lot of it is successful because of the strategies that we're using to get out to people.
I mean, what else have you made a major push on besides social media?
Nothing. Like that's what it is.
Guys, whenever someone tells you Facebook is, you're playing around on Facebook, remember those numbers. I mean.
And the nice thing too, like with this thank you video, like we've done this a couple of years, because what we also do is we put it on YouTube. We have a QR code in our thank you card that goes out. That way it goes to this video on YouTube. But then I also, like some of those I'll use snippets for this year. Like I don't make people refilm. Now, some of those people don't work at the library anymore, so like I'll take them out and get new staff in and that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can use that content. Yes.
So how often are you posting about like Giving Tuesday? Is it once a week? Is it like twice a week? And
like
what would be
November 1st, we'll start posting like once a week. The week before Thanksgiving, every day. Giving Tuesday, 6 times a day, 7 times a day.
Now, the caveat to that is, you have to understand that the library posts twice a day, at least.
7 days a week.
7 days a week. So in other words, if you're posting twice a week and you do that strategy, you're going to be inundating people. So you do kind of have to take what she just said and you kind of have to make it work with your plan. With hers, it does kind of, even if she's posting once a day, every day for a week, it isn't exclusively asking for money. Because there's content posts that are going out.
It's stories. It's not just saying, hey, give us money. It's telling the stories. It's showing what we've done before. That's the other thing is like, typically in like September, October, we start showing everything that we've done with the money people donated last year. So we showed that impact. So it's a mix of it all. And oftentimes on our Facebook page, I do use the hashtag Giving Tuesday hashtag. So if you want to see old content that the library's done and kind of see our strategy, if you go to the page and click on the hashtag, it should pull everything up.
And then, sorry,
No.
the goal,
Uh-huh.
wherever you guys are.
Yeah.
Is that included in all of, not all of it, but
We don't do all of it. We usually will do it, like, we'll tell people what our goal is, like the week before Thanksgiving, like we'll kind of lay it out a little bit. And then on Giving Tuesday, we definitely try to update. I usually try to update like noon-ish and then like 7 p.m.-ish that day if I have those numbers. So.
I think one of the small reasons for the success as well is that they hit their goal, or they came very close to it each time. So set a realistic expectation of what you can expect for your first year, and then your second and your third. And update judiciously. And what I mean by that is you have to provide updates, because people will be following, especially the people who helped you get to where you are, they'll be looking. But you just have to be careful with crafting the message. At this point in time, this is a sales or a fundraising idea or verbiage that comes in handy. You know, don't say, oh, we almost hit our goal when you only made it halfway. I mean, again, authenticity is key. So there's multiple ways you can phrase, we only hit half our goal without saying we failed or fell short. But again, pick, what you set for yourself. Let me put it this way. It would be far greater for you to have 2 stretch goals that you've met by Giving Tuesday or thereafter than it would be for you to only hit 50% of what you had originally set out to do. So get something matching dollars. You mentioned central bank matching, central bank match. Get a matching donor. And by the way, you know what it takes to get a matching donor? Hey, Melissa, you donated $5,000 in April. You didn't earmark that money for anything. Can we use that as a matching gift for Giving Tuesday?
And we get new ones every year, like this
You
year.
might already have it, is what I'm saying.
I mean, Hitachi is our match this year, and so the first, I think it's $2,000 that people donate at Giving Tuesday is gonna be matched. So just, if you have corporate partners, asking them to be a match and making sure that you advertise them on everything is also helpful. And then we also always do a post at the end of the year, like typically maybe December 15th, before the holidays, and then also December 30th. That's hey, don't forget end of year giving, if you haven't designated your dollars yet, you can still donate, blah, blah, blah.
Ideally, you get a new donor to give you that matching dollar. My point is, can't find them. You can kind of finagle a little bit. And that helps.
I was saying October is when I did that. So this is one of the things that we talked about. You may remember one of the projects the foundation raised money for during Giving Tuesday was wireless printing. It's now available. Now you can print from your phone or laptop. So making sure people know what to use the money for. I know we're running out of time, so I'm gonna just go through this super fast because these are funny. So these are just some unique campaigns that I think are hilarious that people do on Giving Tuesday. We also did this one last year. I think I actually ran an ad on Black Friday last year because I thought it was so funny. All books are free. They're always free. REI did a whole thing that they weren't even open on Black Friday. And I think this was in 21, so last year. They were closed on Black Friday. Part of the community, actually, they decided they were gonna charge more on Black Friday. So instead of $25, they had to pay $30.
I promise you, they had sales.
Oh,
I promise you. Yeah, they had sales. The people bought.
Uh-huh.
People like snarking, okay?
As long as it's your brand.
We've had, well, yeah, Wendy's, we talked about that, yeah, so.
So anyway, I think that's all entertaining. And then really quick bonus, I can get it put through. Social media promotions is something you do where it's only if, they're on social media. So like 1 year we sold calendars at the library, we pushed it on social media. So and it doesn't necessarily have to be a deal, it can be free gift wrapping, if it was purchase, that kind of stuff. Okay. Sorry, and I looked at the clock and I was like, oh God, we're over, so. Questions? Is everyone ready? Everyone ready for holidays? We dropped down to 4 people on social or on Zoom. We had like 12.
But is this time better? I mean, I have.
Yeah, we had like double the people here
Starting
today.
to get the 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
We can pull the room, who was able to attend today because it was a fluke versus who is able to attend this at a normal time every month at this time?
I get it, normal. Yeah, I mean, almost everyone in here is.
It was
We switched to noon for about a year and it just,
I could never go.
Yeah.
same day. Cool, plus we get donuts.
Now,
Yeah.
next month, Natalie, we maybe have to, we may be upstairs
Okay.
in Tweety, just because we have a conflict, in here, but
Sharing the room, yeah.
yeah. So, but that's, I think, only gonna be next month, is
Okay.
yeah.
Will the owl be in use in this office, and in this room? Like what
I don't think
technology
so.
will we have?
I don't think, well, I may move it upstairs, I don't think it's hybrid. If
Because
it's
I mean, we had 10 people on Zoom, so I think if we can't have the equipment for Zoom, then it might be worth trying to figure something else out.
Well,
Okay, well, no, I'll try to bring, I don't think that, it's transportation committee, I don't think it's hybrid. I think it's just a person, but I'll double check that.
If it is, we have an out too, we can bring.
Thank you so much for offering that.
I'm sitting here looking at that owl, it looks so much like an owl. I
It does.
never really got this view before, I mean, I'm usually up there
Right.
as a presenter, I'm like, yeah, that
I mean,
owl.
I can check the library and see if we can use our conference.
I was
room.
wondering about that too.
we've done it before and we had a good showing for people, and let's be real, then the people who are there won't feel needed to cramp into a
Well,
room,
and
so.
if they actually come to this room, we can just send them across.
Right,
It's-
yeah.
That's a good thing about having that be the.
Yeah, you park in the same place.
You know,
I don't,
donuts are across the street.
I don't think we have one set for December, do you want to do one in December? I don't think I saw one on the calendar.
It's the 21st.
I said we just want to hold off on December, I think we decided not to do it December.
I think last year we did not do it in December because I know last year you weren't helping it.
Oh my goodness, the chamber of connections, the advantage for the second.
So we'll only have one more social media forum for 2022.
Yeah.
And then we'll roll out again at 8 AM in 2023. Amy, you like this time up too?
Oh, yeah.
Little plug, Chamber Connections is tomorrow. I see Megan Boston, but she was on Sean's app, that was on the radio. Hawthorne Lake is a sponsor. We would just did a radio with us.
It's supposed to warm up tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be warm, or like
That's what-
72.
Yeah. Heat wave.
Did you have an announcement as well you'd like to make? Did you have an announcement you'd like to make?
Yeah, sorry, my first time, and I guess I was supposed to do this when I introduced myself.
No worries.
I'm with the Marine Corps League out of Apache Flats, and we have a trivia night next Friday. We have an optional costume contest. We do really good trivia nights. Most places do like an annual one. We start them in the fall, winter, and spring, and a couple in the summer. So we get 3 to 6 in a year. We've been doing it for over 10 years, and we have a lot of fun with it. And if anybody's interested in doing any gifts for our prizes and donations, I do table tents on all the tables with our prize sponsor's name and address. I put on 3 posters around the room, and I'm MC, and up to now, they're all places that I use, so I'm able to talk about it as well. Try to make it a win-win.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Actually, I was telling you, you might go get into the e-blast.
Yes, and I saw that we do charge $25 per ad per week. So if you're interested in having that in on Monday, right before, just email me.
And if you have any place where you can post a flyer, that's awesome too.
Yes.
And if you'd like some to put on your calendar or something, you have customers walking in, take some of those.
Awesome.
Or those. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming, guys.
All right.
Of course, if you have any questions at any time, you can always